All right, we'll move on now to the NFL, where Ben Roethlisberger is not ready to retire just yet. Pittsburgh Steelers announced Thursday that Big Ben will return for his 18th season on a slimmed down contract. It solidifies the most important position on the field, but it's only the first domino to fall in what will be a crucial offseason for the Steelers as they try to rally around their future Hall of Fame quarterback one more time. All right, Drink, at this stage of the offseason, what is your outlook for the Pittsburgh Steelers for 2021?
They better draft a damn quarterback. That's step number one. Like this Big Ben experiment, I guess you give yourself one more shot. And you know what? I'm not surprised. I'm gonna tell you why I'm not surprised. The Rooneys, the owners of the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're like, I had a term in my head, but they're big on if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. You know what I'm saying? Like Mike Tomlin been there forever. You know what I mean? Big Ben's been there forever. When you get in their good graces, they will hold on to you for dear life, and you damn near gonna die on their sideline. You know what I mean? So I like that to a certain extent, but the loyalty is like none other with Pittsburgh. It's like none other. Like they wanted to keep Antonio Brown even after all the shenanigans he was pulling in the locker room and everything. So I got to give kudos to the Rooney's for that. They set a good precedence when it comes to loyalty within the franchise. But with that said, if it wasn't for that, I would have to ask him why in the hell is Big Ben still around? Like, what are we doing here? Like, I got it. It's not solely his fault why their season ended the way it did. It's not. But he's getting older. He don't take care of his body like Tom Brady. He don't take care of himself like you know what I'm saying? And then the way he plays is a lot different. Tom Brady is a 5-step drop. Oh man, it ain't open. Let me take a knee. Like Big Ben to sit back there and let you hang off his hip, hang off his shoulder pad, try to make a play. Listen, you just said in year 18, be pulling that in year 18. You know what I mean? Like, you too old. These dudes ain't playing. Some young killers out here. But like I say, I understand why Pittsburgh did it. Give him one more. Give him all the rope he needs to hang himself. Pretty much. We're gonna give you this one more season. We're gonna let you prove that you can do it in this last season. If not, you cannot be mad when we move off you. We gave you every opportunity to do what you need to do. Get this team to the next level. Get this team to a Super Bowl again. If you don't do it, man, don't blame us. We ain't the Houston Texans. Don't get mad at us. We giving you what you need. But in my opinion, yeah, they got the quarterback situation, the starting quarterback situation nailed on. But I think, I know they brought in Dwayne Haskins, so I'm assuming that they're gonna give him a chance to do something. But I'm telling you right now, between now and the draft, if Dwayne Haskins ain't blowing you away at this point, it's time to go draft one of these quarterbacks, man. Go get one of these guys I've been hearing about. You ain't getting Trevor Lawrence. So when I say go get one of these guys, I'm talking about one of the other four because you ain't getting no Trevor Lawrence. But, go put yourself in position to get one of these young guys if Dwayne Haskins ain't going to cut the cheese. I don't know. He might be better than we think. But you bring back Big Ben. Now, one of the biggest positives of bringing back Big Ben is twofold. One, like I said, start position is kind of spoken for. But you save money. You reconstructed the contract, saving you about $5 million, $6 million on the cap, which allows you to go get help somewhere else. Maybe the running back position. Because let's be real here. They stopped performing at some point last year. I don't know. You could point out what point, but they stopped performing. Don't know what happened, but they wasn't really hitting on, towards the end of the season, they wasn't hitting on a lot. So if you want to upgrade that position, the defense so good, I don't even know where exactly you would want to upgrade. But if you want to do that, or just look at the offensive line, because at the end of the day, I'm a firm believer everything starts with the trenches. Everything starts with that offensive line. But maybe you go and get a lineman that you was kind of weak in a certain spot. We was talking about the Ponce brothers, right? They retired, months ago. Maybe you go and get a good replacement there. I don't know, but you need to use that reconstructed money for something that's needed. That's up to them. So as far as the outlook of Pittsburgh, it seems like they're gonna be heading to the right direction. Seems. I am curious to see how the quarterback situation behind Big Ben come out. I'm also curious to see what do they do with the money that Big Ben has given back in that reconstructed contract. Because if you go and pull some bull crap and go sign, you know, I don't know, a kicker or something, it's gonna be some problems. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be what are we doing here? But the one thing I would say that Bill Belichick did always do back in the day with Tom Brady, every time Tom Brady reconstructed his contract, he got something for it. Whether that was a wide receiver, whether that was a lineman, whether it was an upgrade in running back, you know, whatever. He got something in return. That's why he was always so willing to do it. But then that's why you have people like Aaron Rodgers that's like, I'm not reconstructing my contract. So what? So you can go get another quarterback? Get out of here. You know what I mean? And that plays a big role in this whole offseason outlook to me because that's how you get these older veteran face of the NFL type guys to reconstruct that contract by showing them that you're going to do something with the money. So all that said, I mean, like, it's a slew of free agents out here. I'm gonna let you get to that. But with that said, they should use that money to do something with these slew of free agents that they're gonna have hitting the market. And but I do think Pittsburgh is doing the right thing by going ahead and getting Big Ben out of the way, so you can focus on Juju Smith-Schuster and Bud Dupree. You know, you can focus on those type of guys because you already got him out the way. Let's see what happens with Dwayne Haskins. But I can tell you this. Pittsburgh start to the offseason looking a lot better than some of these other teams. That's for dang on sure. So that said, man, I'm not mad at it. I think Pittsburgh they on the right direction to be you know one of the AFC contenders this year once again.
Yeah, they got this is the first and foremost they had to solidify the quarterback position. I think this was the best option they had. We know, and we just saw it a couple of years ago. We saw the Mason Rudolph and Devlin Hodges show, and Josh Dobbs. They got Josh Dobbs. They got Dwayne Haskins on the roster, but you wouldn't take none of those guys over Big Ben, even at his advanced age, right now. I will remind you, he did throw 33 touchdowns against 10 interceptions last year. They did get off to an 11-0 start before things kind of went awry, and we know that playoff game against the Cleveland Browns was one of the most disappointing things I've seen in a long time, with Cleveland being stricken by the COVID, and they still came out there and got blown out the water. But I think this is what they had to do. They're not in a great position against the cap. They're going to lose a lot of their free agents that they have. Among the most keyest are Juju Smith-Schuster, Bud Dupree. The offensive line is going to have to be remade, and it's going to have to be remade quickly. You mentioned Marquise Pouncey, but they're also set to lose at this stage both of their tackles, I believe, Alejandro Villanueva and Matt Fowler. The running back situation, they got to figure that out. I don't know if James Conner returns. He probably will not. And one of their underrated defensive players, slot cornerback Mike Hilton, he will be a free agent as well. So they have a lot of work to do beyond signing Big Ben to a contract, which I believe he'll make about $14 million this year, which that's a win. That's a win. But I still don't think they're not in a good position again with the salary cap. So they might have to get creative, and maybe they can shed some money on some of their veteran guys that they can afford to lose. I don't want to throw no names out there, but I don't know.
Maybe they reconstruct with those guys if they think this is championship level team. You reconstruct those guys.
But they're going to have to. The only other way they can, if they can't do any more restructures, they're going to have to ace this draft, which they're capable of doing. You think about Kevin Colbert. He was the biggest. The time Kevin Colbert was in the news the most was the whole Le'Veon Bell situation. In the end, I mean, Le'Veon Bell is done right now in the NFL. We talked about, like, with the Kansas City Chiefs, this was like his last chance. And you remember, come playoff time, it was Darrell Williams playing before Le'Veon Bell. So you can close the book on him. So, but I say that to say Kevin Colbert's done a fantastic job. The way he drafts, particularly like at the wide receiver position, they a wide receiver factory. And I think they'll be okay without Juju. If they can't keep Juju, I don't think they will. I think he'll sign a big deal somewhere else. But they'll be okay because they got Deontay Johnson, they got Chase Claypool, and they got James Washington. They'll be fine at wide receiver. They still got Eric Ebron. So you got a quartet of really solid weaponry right there. Biggest concern will be the offensive line, and they'll have to remake that quickly. And I think it's worth it, although they may not go this route. I would do everything I can, similar to the way I thought, about a guy like Aaron Rodgers last year. Draft everything to help him right now. If this is probably Big Ben's last year, so draft everything that'll help him today. Drafting a quarterback won't help them today. Jordan Love didn't help the Packers last year. So I would go all in, draft and free agency, what little moves they'll be able to make, and remaking that offensive line around David DeCastro. Get a run, maybe you can get a late round running back that can fill the void by James Conner, because what they have right now, it's decent, but Benny Snell, Anthony McFarland, some of these guys, it's you'd like to do a little bit better than that. And
Right.
then defensively, just patch up a few holes in the depth, because the defense is set to be pretty good. They'll just need to patch up some holes. But the biggest priority, they gotta rework that offensive line, because Big Ben, he's got to be protected. He can still move around. He can still shed guys, throw complete passes with guys hanging off his back. But he is 39. He's still working with that surgically repaired elbow. You can't put him in harm's way as much as you used to.
So, with that said, when you say so, it's one or two ways Pittsburgh can do this. They can take the Green Bay route and spend money on stuff you don't need,
Yeah,
or you could take the Tampa Bay route. And now you draft and you spend your money around stuff that's gonna help Tom Brady elevate at an advanced age. I agree with you. That was a good, fantastic point. I think you don't have to look no further than what they did in Tampa. That's exactly what happened
yep.
when Tom Brady got down there. They said, "Oh, Tom need this, and a new knee. We're gonna give him all that and two new knees, and we're
Right.
gonna we're gonna get this Lombardi." So I do agree with you. But for anybody that's like, what, long and
And if
lost, just to go
Yeah,
look at what they did.
and if they want to take a late round quarterback in the later rounds, then I think that's okay. But like, and I think the point you made, I brought up Green Bay, you brought up Tampa Bay. That those are your two like paths, and we saw which one works. We
Right.
saw which one worked. Like the Tampa Bay fully invested in Tom Brady. Yes, you want a competent backup quarterback, but you don't need to go draft one in the first round. Green Bay, hello, like so. I mean, Pittsburgh in the same way, and I think Dwayne Haskins is kind of key in this, because I think first and foremost, what Pittsburgh has to do is evaluate, is Dwayne Haskins salvageable. Something tells me, something tells me that you can salvage him, and if you can, then maybe you don't have to worry about it. Maybe you have your guy in house, because we know it's not any of those other three guys. And if that's the case, then you can go fully heavy on just drafting offensive linemen. Maybe looking at a guy that can replace Bud Dupree. I think seeing what Pittsburgh does with their franchise tag will be interesting, because I think they'll use it. It probably maybe it is Bud Dupree, because we saw it was a big deal for them when Bud Dupree didn't play later in the season. TJ Watt wasn't nearly as effective. So that's a big deal, having that second guy on the opposite side of TJ Watt. Um, but all in all, it's going to be challenging for Kevin Colbert in the front office to get through this and repair this offensive line. But I think he is good enough to do it. He's smart enough to do it, and it's going to take all of that and more if Pittsburgh wants to be back in the thick of things. Anything less than an A grade in the offseason for Pittsburgh, I think they will miss the playoffs.